real. The jealousy is real. You know, this damn dump just can't get out of its.
Jealousy runs rampant in the WNBA, and the frustration surrounding it is palpable. Fans, players, and analysts are up in arms, particularly when it comes to the treatment of Indiana Fever's rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark. The league's officiating has come under intense scrutiny, with accusations of bias, inconsistency, and outright incompetence dominating discussions. From phantom fouls to ignored assaults on the court, the refereeing in recent games, especially the controversial Fever versus Liberty matchup, has sparked outrage. Many are questioning whether this officiating chaos could tarnish the league's brightest star and, by extension, jeopardize the WNBA's credibility and future. The stakes are high, and the silence from league leadership only amplifies the growing discontent. Imagine watching your favorite player, like Caitlin Clark, weaving through defenders with precision, only to be blatantly fouled, her arm grabbed, her body shoved, yet the referees' whistles remain silent. The game continues as if nothing happened. You might think, okay, maybe they missed it. But then it happens again and again. For Fever fans, this isn't a one-off. It's a recurring nightmare unfolding game after game. Social media is ablaze with fans dissecting these moments, slowing down replays frame by frame to highlight missed calls or inexplicable fouls that defy the rulebook. The term Chaos Gremlins with Whistles has gained traction as a nickname for WNBA referees, capturing the sentiment that their decisions often sow disorder rather than enforce fairness. The officiating controversy has become a lightning rod, with Clark at the center of the storm. As a rookie phenom, she's brought unprecedented attention to the WNBA, drawing in new fans with her electrifying play. Yet many believe she's being unfairly targeted, not just by opponents, but by the very officials tasked with maintaining the game's integrity. The physicality allowed against her, hard fouls, shoves, and uncalled contact, stands in stark contrast to the ticky-tack fouls called against her for seemingly innocuous plays. One glaring example came during a crucial moment when Clark was shoved during a drive to the basket, only for no whistle to blow. Moments later, she was whistled for a foul on a clean defensive stance, with replays showing no contact. These inconsistencies have fueled the perception that Clark and the Fever are battling not just their opponents, but the referees as well. The numbers tell a damning story. In a game against the New York Liberty, a powerhouse team, the Liberty shot 32 free throws while the Fever managed only a fraction of that. This wasn't an isolated incident. Over the season, the Fever faced a free throw differential of -31, a statistic that raises eyebrows and questions about fairness. Free throws are critical in controlling game momentum and staying competitive, especially against elite teams. When those opportunities are stripped away by questionable officiating, it's not just a bad call, it's a game changer. Fever coach Stephanie White didn't mince words when addressing this disparity, calling out the egregious officiating and pointing out that her team's aggressive drives to the rim weren't being rewarded with calls. Her frustration echoed the sentiments of fans who feel the Fever are on the wrong end of a systemic issue. This perception of bias extends beyond Clark to the entire Fever roster. Game after game, fans point to moments where crucial calls, or lack thereof, swing momentum against Indiana. In tight contests where every possession counts, these decisions can turn potential wins into frustrating losses. White has emerged as a vocal advocate for her team, demanding respect and consistency from officials. Her fiery press conferences have resonated with fans, who see her as giving voice to their growing anger. After one particularly lopsided game, she declared that she'd had enough, emphasizing that the Fever weren't looking for special treatment, just fairness. Her stance isn't just about protecting her players. It's about preserving the integrity of the game itself. The officiating issues aren't solely the referees' fault, however. Critics point to a broader systemic problem within the WNBA, starting with the league's competition committee. Composed of stakeholders, coaches, governors, and general managers, this committee sets the tone for the style of play and interpretation of rules. If the committee permits a high level of physicality, referees are instructed to follow suit, which may explain why hard fouls against Clark and the Fever often go uncalled. But this explanation doesn't satisfy fans, who see the inconsistent application of rules as a deliberate choice to allow excessive physicality against certain players or teams. The result is a game that feels less like basketball and more like a poorly scripted drama, with referees improvising their own rules instead of adhering to the rulebook. Social media has amplified these concerns, with fans and analysts turning into amateur sleuths. Slow-motion replays flood platforms like X, showcasing missed calls, phantom fouls, and moments where Clark absorbs clear contact without a whistle. In one viral clip, Clark was visibly held during a drive, only for the play to continue without a call. Seconds later, she was penalized for a minor infraction on defense. These moments fuel the narrative that the officiating isn't just inconsistent, it's personal. The phrase, playing against two teams, has become a rallying cry for Fever fans who feel their team is battling both their opponents and the officials. This sentiment was particularly strong after the Fever Liberty game, where questionable calls at critical moments left fans and players alike fuming. The WNBA's leadership, particularly Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, has remained conspicuously silent on the issue. This lack of response has been described as a leadership vacuum, with critics likening it to a shrug emoji, humorous on the surface, but deeply troubling in context. Engelbert's failure to address the officiating controversies, especially those involving Clark, sends a message that the league is content to let these issues fester. Fans and analysts argue that this silence implies certain players or teams are fair game for unfair treatment, a perception that erodes trust in the league. When the face of the WNBA, a player like Clark, who's driving unprecedented viewership, is subjected to what looks like targeted officiating, the absence of accountability from the top feels like a betrayal. The stakes couldn't be higher. Clark's arrival has brought a surge of new fans to the WNBA, drawn by her skill and charisma. Her games are must-watch events, boosting ratings and ticket sales. But the officiating controversies threaten to alienate these new viewers. When fans tune in to watch Clark only to see her hammered without calls or penalized for clean plays, they're left frustrated and disillusioned. Social media is filled with posts warning that the league risks losing this newfound audience if it doesn't act. One journalist put it bluntly: if something were to happen to Clark, like an injury caused by an uncalled physicality, the WNBA could fade into obscurity. Ratings already took a 55% hit when Clark was sidelined by injury, and ticket prices plummeted. The failure of initiatives like Unrivaled, a competing league, underscores the WNBA's reliance on Clark's star power to sustain mainstream interest. The officiating issues also raise questions about the league's referee training and oversight. Critics argue that the WNBA's process for scouting and developing referees is inadequate, with little accountability for poor performance. Stories have surfaced of referees entering the league with minimal experience. One allegedly transitioned from high school officiating after writing a letter to the NBA. While such anecdotes may be exaggerated, they feed into the perception that the WNBA's officiating system is a weak link. Without a robust mechanism to review and correct mistakes, bad calls pile up, and the league's credibility suffers. Some have likened this to a broken feedback loop where errors go unchecked and referees are left to police themselves. This isn't just about Clark or the Fever, it's about the future of the WNBA. The league has long struggled to capture mainstream attention, and Clark represents a rare opportunity to elevate its profile. Her ability to draw crowds and generate buzz is unmatched, yet the officiating controversies threaten to undermine this momentum. Fans are already skeptical, with some accusing the league of allowing physicality against Clark to boost the profiles of other players. The narrative that jealous players are targeting her to make headlines has gained traction, with critics pointing to incidents of cheap shots and uncalled fouls as evidence. Whether intentional or not, the perception that the league is failing to protect its biggest star is damaging. The Fever's struggles highlight a broader issue. The WNBA's inability to address officiating inconsistencies undermines the sport's integrity. Fans want to see great basketball, not games decided by questionable calls. When referees miss obvious fouls or invent phantom ones, it cheapens the product on the court. Players like Clark, who are pushing the league forward, deserve better. Coaches like White, who are fighting for fairness, deserve better. And fans, who are investing their time and money, deserve better. The WNBA's silence on this issue risks alienating its growing audience, and the consequences could be dire.